Hey, see you, Emma.
Welcome, Facebook. Welcome, Taryn. Everybody back in Facebook land.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that?
All the way from New Zealand.
New Zealand. You know, I tell you, man, it's funny living in the States, being a Kiwi. If like the amount of times people have been like, oh yeah, New Zealand. I've always wanted to go to South Africa or Finland or Switzerland or whatever it is. Bizarre.
Or Australia, but they just never. It's kind of nice though that no one knows where it is. I like.
Do you?
Yeah, I like the fact that not everybody knows where it is. We're pretty good. Like, think about it. We're the same size as Japan with a population that's, I don't know, minimal.
Not as big as Japan.
Honestly, I want to say Japan has a population of maybe 120 million, maybe. I don't know. It's got a lot. It's got a lot. Yeah, it's got a lot.
Okay.
I mean, we're the same size as the UK, and the UK's got 60 million.
It's nuts. You're right.
Yeah, so
you're right.
We're pretty lucky in the sense that there is a lot more. We're kind of free range humans, aren't we? We're not so much as caged.
Free range.
Yeah.
Compare us to chickens.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much it. I mean, but the sad thing is we have all this vast land and we are caging ourselves, which is kind of weird. Like, we don't have to be caged, but we're choosing to be caged because that seems to be the global standard where, hey, let's all live. If we don't live 2 kilometers away from the central city or 3 kilometers, then we're not living. So it's weird. It's this. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's interesting.
It's funny because, like, living in New Zealand and then moving to the States, growing up in New Zealand, I should say, and then moving to the States, I like, you know, back in Hamilton or Auckland, like a 10-minute drive was like the maximum that you could kind of deal with. Here, it takes legit, it can take 20 minutes to drive 1 mile.
Oh, I know. Like, I remember being in California. I used to go to the States quite a lot and be in LA, and we would drive an hour and wouldn't blink an eye.
Yeah.
Just for dinner. We'd just drive an hour. Like, I'd be from West Hollywood all the way to Long Beach or go to the OC, and it's about 45 minutes each way, and I wouldn't blink an eyelid. It's just what we did. Yeah.
And these days you're just like, nah, fuck that noise.
Yeah. Like in Auckland, 45 minutes would get you to Pukekohe.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Which is a fair distance for those who are not familiar with South Auckland.
Yeah. Oh, and in New Zealand, like, if you travel from the central city to a place called Pukekohe, you might as well just take a picnic, you know? That's what people think. That's just it. But it's not that far. In the grand scheme of everything, it isn't that far. That's the thing.
I have to say, it's really good to hear your accent, because I keep getting told by people back in New Zealand, like when I'm doing my shows and whatever, that I sound super American these days. I've almost forgotten what a super Kiwi accent sounds like. So thank you.
Weirdly enough, mine's not even super Kiwi. Mine's really mild. Like, I don't have a thick Kiwi accent, which is interesting, which is weird, but it's good. It's fine. I don't mind.
How long have you been in New Zealand for now?
I was born here.
You were born here. That's what I thought. But you say that like I don't have a thick accent, like you've been living other places.
No, like I don't have a thick Kiwi accent. Like my cousins who have been here the same amount, who are all born here as well, their accents are really Kiwi, you know, like that, some of them.
Right,
like
right.
I've got aunties who are older than me that are really Kiwi, like really, really Kiwi.
Really, really Kiwi.
Yeah, really Kiwi. And I just don't have that. Mine.
Do you think that's because you've traveled so much?
Possibly. I don't know why the reasoning is. Yeah, I have no idea why my accent isn't as thick.
Yeah.
Other family members and stuff like that. Just it's interesting.
It's
interesting.
So
it's almost like a universal accent. I don't have it's almost like a universal accent. I don't have a specific accent, you know?
Yeah. Well, see, that's how I feel about my accent. But like legit, yesterday I went to Walmart to get what I was getting, eggs or something. Yeah, it made me laugh the first time I ever went to Walmart.
I'm like, is Walmart open?
It's an essential service because they sell food.
So it's Costco.
Yeah, well, the Costco, like half of their employees at Costco got infected with coronavirus.
What?
At least in Maryland. Yep. It's been nuts. But yeah, like, so every time I talk to anybody in the States, it's like, even yesterday I was talking to a policeman and he was like, oh, you sound so exotic. Like, where are you from?
Yeah.
Like, I think that my accent's relatively universal, but
it's amazing when the Kiwi accent's exotic.
Well, it was voted the sexiest accent in the world, wasn't it? According to...
It was by the Deaf Society, I think.
Don't be a hater.
and I think South Africa was number 2.
Yeah. Which, I mean, yeah. Why? What's your favorite accent?
I don't know. I don't mind the New Zealand the Kiwi accent. I don't know if it's number 1. I don't know. I've never thought about it. I've never had a preference of an ideal accent. I've never thought, oh, I like this accent over that accent.
Right.
What are we? Are we accent racists?
I mean,
like,
this is.
Are we accentists? Are we accentists? Is that what we are? Is that what we're doing now? Is that what the world's come to? We're judging people on how they sound because we can't judge them on what they look like anymore because that's not PC. So let's judge them on how they sound.
We also can't see people these days because we're on quarantine.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think as a child when you grow up, you could definitely decide. But now we just live in such a, I don't know, universal world that. Yeah, I mean, I guess we pick it up and go, oh, yeah, that's an accent, but you don't sit there and, oh, wow, talk to me more.
Well, it's funny because even in, like, so, you know, how, like, New Zealand's relatively small, the accent doesn't change too dramatically, but, like, from state to state here in the States,
it's quite big.
The accents can be very different. Like, you can pick up on a Boston accent super quickly and a New York accent super quickly. And a Texan accent is a whole other thing.
I mean, you're talking about 360 million people, I don't know, 330 or whatever, living in these states that are almost their own little countries in a weird kind of way. And that's it, right? And then they travel from state to state, and how these twangs that they have came along, because obviously it would also have a lot to do with migration when it all happened back in the days from different parts of the world, where I think New York and Boston and all that had quite a lot of Irish influence, didn't it, in the early I could be wrong. I don't know my American.
I mean, gosh, yes, I'll say yes.
I could be wrong, you know, and Italians and stuff like that. So those accents would have contributed to that. In California, there's a huge South American influence up there. So obviously their accent's going to be different as it kind of adapts. And yeah, the parts of America have so many different parts of migration that I'm assuming that would have been the contributing factor to the way that people sound now.
Yeah. You've taught here before, right? You've done gigs around the States?
Not just the odd open micer, but I haven't actually worked as such. No, not in the States. I've been on holiday and a lot. Hey, shall I turn the camera the other way, or is this okay like this?
You look fine. You look great.
No, I'm just saying because you've gone landscape and I've gone profile. Does it matter?
You can do what you want. You can be different. I don't
know.
mind.
I don't know if this makes it better for your web. I don't know.
We're being experimental here. It doesn't matter too much to me. Yeah. I'm just here at my desk with my computer, so that's why I'm like, I have no choice. I just have to be landscape all the time. You look wonderful. Don't worry about it.
I'm just more about, you know, when you see something that's landscape and portrait mixed in one, you're like, oh, it just feels odd. Something's not right. I could be wrong. I don't know.
You can be odd. I don't mind you being odd. That's cool.
And I've also, another thing I've noticed in Zoom meetings, I always used to think, oh, you take the camera back, you see more of the body, but a lot of people have their full head in the shot, which I find it's like a passport photo conversation the whole time. I find that really intense.
It's funny that you say that because
I don't know where the camera is. I don't know where to look at. Am I looking at you or am I looking at the freaking camera? So I'm all over I'm like, what? I don't get that. I don't like these Zoom meetings have really thrown me. Like, I don't like it at the best of times looking at myself on film, nor do I like myself looking at myself in a photograph. I just find it just takes away from us as human beings being photo. I don't know. I'm. It
Are you a
irks
humble guy, Taryn? Is that what's going on here?
No, not humble. I just don't like looking at myself on film or camera. I just find it weird. I find it really bizarre. And the fact that now this is all we have to do. Like, everybody all of a sudden wants to talk via video. I'm like, why can't I just talk to you over the phone? I just want to hear you. I don't actually want to see how badly we've made, like how little effort we've made. Like, some people really dress up every day or make an effort. I don't even think I've worn pants. Like,
but you guys are down to level. You guys are down to level 3 now. Has pants become part of the thing? Trousers.
When I leave the house. Yeah, but within my own confine, I just wear a big giant muumuu top, and that covers everything. Like, I'll take the rubbish out in it. Like, the neighbors have no idea that I got no pants on. I mean, literally none. And I'm like, I'm cool with that. I'm cool. It's so liberating. So freaking liberating, walking around just. Yeah, I find it good. I find it real. I do. I can see why ladies would love skirts. I mean, the big one-piece frocky thingy thing. I quite like it, and I love it. I really like it. Yeah.
No shame in that game.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's
I should take it next level and go to the supermarket.
I support that.
But I
mean, in Fiji, people do it all the time. The policemen
if you just wear a big top, if I wear a giant top that goes around to my knees, and it just means that if my top gets infected, that's just one top I got to wash. It's my corona top.
Are you guys down to 0 cases now?
No, we're not. No. I think we've got about maybe 300 active cases, but they know where they all are. But we are the cases we get on a day-to-day have definitely come down. So I think yesterday we had one case and one probable, and we've got about, I'm not 100% sure, don't quote me on these numbers, but potentially 6 in hospital. We've had 19 deaths, which is not great.
That's horrible.
I mean, it's horrible, but it's not, not taking away from anyone's life. It is definitely far less than other countries, but at the same time, every life means something. So it is a tragedy what's happened, but it'll be interesting to see what comes about of all this in years to come. What was the deal? What could have the world done better? How was the world prepared for this? I have no idea. Like, honestly, we literally are all just taking orders from our governments, and we're just doing what needs to be done, I guess, to get back to where we were at. But once again, because it's a virus and there is no vaccine or cure at this point in time, or knowledge of how to get rid of it. And I think a lot of people just don't understand. We're not meant to be scared of the virus anyway. That's the problem. That's what people don't understand. It's not the virus that's going to, yes, it's the virus that will get you, but what's really going to get us is people's hospitals and infrastructure not being able to cope with that many people sick in one time is what's going to be taking lives. And the world has so what it is, it's just the numbers game. So basically, this virus is super contagious. This is how many people are going to get sick in one go. Do we have the infrastructure to be able to cope with this if this happens? And the reality is we don't. And no countries do. No countries have an infrastructure built in for people to be sick by the thousands. No, like, for example, and I think that's what the whole thing is, that they're not, I don't think that, in layman's term, the whole reason they want us to, I guess, not be next to each other is so that we don't get contaminated and then become a burden on a system that isn't going to be able to cope with the masses that are coming through it. Hence, in America, you guys have got pop-up clinics in Central Park and stuff like that. You've got all those things because the actual infrastructure, which is the hospitals and all that, aren't going to be able to cope with the people coming in. And that's all it is. Like I mean, also there has been these, I think you might have read that there's also been where the young people have potentially got strokes from it. Have you heard of that? Because of blood clots. Yeah, so in America, scientists have noticed that what's happened in a lot of the young people. Now, obviously, don't quote me on this once again. This is just something I've read, but I've heard it's a thing. Have a look for it online, where all the young people that were dying in the States, they were wondering, why are these people dying? And the virus has a tendency to cause blood clots, which give people strokes. And that's something that they're discovering now as well. So that's another, another bow. What would you call it? When when you're an actor and a singer, another bow to your, what do they call it? Another, when you're really talented. What's that saying?
Bow to your, like string to your bow.
Another string to your bow. So that's it. So I totally didn't remember it. Another string to your bow. So this is another string to coronavirus's, carnage that it can do. So, and because it's such a new thing, no one really knows what's going to happen. No one really knows the true carnage of what this actual virus can do, because it's so new. It's like having a brand new car and figuring out everything it can do.
Except that it's probably more deadly.
It's definitely not like a brand new car. But it is. It's just, and that's all it is. I think that's what people just don't understand is that it's the pace of how quick everyone's going to get ill is going to be the downfall. That's all it is. Because the reality is, I can guarantee you, there have probably been less deaths, right? Even though I know you guys, what's the death rate in America? 60,000?
Oh gosh, I know that we've now got more deaths from this than died in Vietnam.
Yeah. Yeah, but once again, that's the thing is, but don't forget, how long was the Vietnam War? 5 years? I don't know how long it was, maybe 4 years. So that's that amount of people that died over 4 years. So you do realize when N1H1 happened, the swine flu, right?
Yeah.
In the US, they did have potentially, I think, 14,000 deaths, right? They did have that. And guess how many people were infected?
How many?
Over 60 million.
Really?
But it spanned over 12 months.
Right.
So it doesn't become a massive burden because it wasn't as contagious as this. So what the terrible thing about the virus is how contagious it is, I'm assuming. And that's why people have to be mindful. That's all it is. And I think that's all they have to literally tell people. It's not so much the virus is going to kill you. It's the fact that we can't get to you in time to save you. That's what's going to kill you.
For
we don't have the resources to save you.
Well, this chat
got really depressing really quick.
Sorry?
Okay, this chat got really depressing really quick.
No, I was going to say, apparently we've just passed 1 million cases.
Yeah, so 1 million cases, right?
Right.
And H1N1 had over 60 million.
Perspective.
Hey? No. But here's the problem. This is way more contagious, right? They got to 60 million in a year. If you've got 1 million in 6 weeks, if you just do the numbers on where you started at and how quickly you got to 1 million, and in another 20 weeks, how much is that million going to be?
It's nuts. It's
nuts. 100 million. You know what I mean? 100 million. So it's all that. It's just how quick is that going to spread? The million cases.
So how are you?
But out of your million cases, also, what's the recovery? I don't know.
Oh gosh, quite good.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So the recovery, because that's another thing that people aren't taking into consideration, that the higher the numbers you have, also there is a high number of, like, for example, today you had 1,000 cases. So technically 14 days from today, you'll have, 950 recover, and obviously 50 of those potentially could die.
Yeah, so we've got 1.06 million confirmed in the States.
Yeah.
123,000 have recovered, 61,000 have died.
Wow, so the recovery isn't... Yeah, but that's because your bigger numbers have come in the last 3 or 4 weeks. Right? So those 100,000 recoveries are from your smaller numbers at the beginning of it all. So once you keep going along, once your trajectory keeps happening, the bigger numbers that came up, the 2,500s, the 2,500s that you guys are getting on a daily basis, they will start recovering in bigger groups as time goes on. I'm assuming, depending upon how compromised everyone's health is that got it, and how the age of the people that got it. I mean, there's a lot of factors you got to, think about.
For sure.
Yeah.
So how are you?
Once again, hey, I'm not a doctor.
I was gonna say, like, are you part-time, like, medical professional, part-time comedian?
But I look like a doctor more than a lot of people. Like if I
Is
walk
that
into
because
a
you're
hospital,
Indian? Really?
if I walk into a hospital, I could be mistaken as a doctor. If I walk into a 7-Eleven, I could be mistaken as the guy that works there. If I'm just driving in a Prius, I can be mistaken for being an Uber driver. It's just the way the world is.
I'm laughing uncomfortably because it's so true.
I know. Hey, casual racism. It's not making a comeback. It never went away.
It never went away.
Casual racism is always there. What's gone is actually, I don't mind casual racism. Casual racism is okay. It's the formal racism I hate, when people are dressed in suits and ties and they'd be racist behind your back when you're not there. That's formal racism.
Well, so I think that's the difference between the States and New Zealand. Is like formal racism here. It's not just suits and ties. It's very much
I know.
white hoods.
Yeah.
But
that's fancy. That's fancy dress racism. That is.
So it's interesting because having been living in the States now for 5 years and comparing that, because like people lose their minds when I tell them, as a brown person, I've never really been, it's not really a racist country in New Zealand. There's a lot of casual racism, not to the same extent, is what I mean.
Yeah.
Like when you compare how people are treated here, it's like you can't really compare in some ways. But the casual racism, like if I was casually racist here like I am in New Zealand, shit doesn't fly. Like I can't make a brown joke.
Yeah.
Even, and I forget.
Is it because people won't buy it? I mean, it's not nothing about people buying it. Is it because people are very, very politically correct? Is that what it is?
I think part of it is I'm so confusing here. People either think I'm Ethiopian, Spanish, or Black.
Oh shoot! Sorry, this always happens.
So part of it is that. The other part of it is that, like, because of our president at the moment, any kind of joke can be blown up into something rather, like we're sensitive at the moment. Everything's really like you're either with us or you're against us.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like at this point of, okay, obviously we're all human, we're all, equal love and equal community, but I just every now and then when I like flick back to New Zealand stories and New Zealand news and New Zealand media, and I'm like, oh snap, like I live in the land of the free, yet New Zealand is so much more free when it comes to its joking.
I don't know. I think the world over, people have changed the way we talk to a certain degree. That's for sure. I think certain friend circles and that you can, like, let's be real. If you were to go through your WhatsApp chat group and the groups that you're in, let me tell you, there'll be some jokes that will fly amongst certain people in those chat groups, and there'll be some jokes that won't fly with certain people. Like I'm in chat groups where we've removed some people from chat groups because we know that that's going to be offensive to that person. So there's another chat group that's a side chat group to the chat group, knowing that you don't want to offend that one person.
That's
and
hilarious.
That can happen. I'm sure, and I won't be the only person that happens with. You know what I mean? There'll be a chat group. There'll be also groups that you belong to on Facebook. There's some people, and you join those groups with sheer knowledge of knowing what it's all about, and tread with caution, because some of them are, a lot of the groups that I belong to are never PC, and I love it. And the stuff that people post is hilarious. And because they're closed groups, it's awesome. But trust me, you got to be careful about who you forward anything to, who you're going to offend. You just never know.
I don't think I've ever been part of a WhatsApp chat group. I'm not going to lie. I'm not about that life. But yeah, Facebook, definitely. I think at least in my social circles, there's a lot more sexism here than there is racism. in my circles, you know, casual sexism, like whatever, which I have to like sometimes be like, okay, cool, that's a joke that's funny, or is that a joke that's really fucking over the top? You know, but yeah. How are you finding this whole COVID is affecting your career? Like, because you are a comedian.
Our career, I think, as performers, as you're aware, as you are as well, the weirdest thing about this is that the one thing we require to do our jobs as an audience, the one thing that they're not going to allow to happen is social gatherings. So it it's really affecting all performers more than, I mean, it's affecting everybody, obviously, across the board. But for us as our career, it's really challenging because the one thing that we kind of do need is an audience when we do live gigs. Obviously, that's why when people, even people for television shows, like all these guys that are doing talk shows and stuff, don't even have audiences anymore. A lot of them are making talk shows from their houses. And I think the other day we had a game show that we do in New Zealand, but the game show was produced really, you know, I really enjoyed the ingenuity that they had used to be able to still make the game show and have all the people perform from their homes, from their own bubble, which is really awesome. It's called Have You Been Paying Attention? It's like a panel show, and people did it from their homes. And I thought, that's, you know, it's a great way of doing it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's the only way you can do it, you know? It's the only way at this point in time. And until we drop to level 2 and we feel safe for people to, you know, congregate again, I guess until then, we're just going to have to figure out different ways and, you know, number 8 wire, get things done.
So there's 4 levels in New Zealand. We don't have that system in the States. Can you explain what the levels mean?
So level 4 basically in New Zealand was you all stayed within your own bubble and you didn't expand it. So whatever you're in, you're in. You don't leave your house. You can only go for walks. You could go to the supermarket, and they only allowed one person from that home to go to the supermarket and the chemist if you needed to. All restaurants, bars, everything closed. Nothing else is open. And gas stations are obviously open, and like corner shops like 7-Elevens you have in the States, and like the dairies here. So they were all kind of open, but they had strict policies, 2-meter distancing. You'd queue up if it was busy, and then you would just, you know, everything was kind of, there was a sense of order to everything they were doing, which is great. And now we've dropped level 3, which basically means dropped to level 3, where a lot of people, I think the government said maybe 1 million people went back to work. I don't know if that's right though. Maybe it was. Maybe 1 million people went back to work.
So like a quarter of the population.
Also, level 4 schools were all closed, so all kids are home at level 4. There's no school going on. I think level 3 now allows children to go back to school voluntarily. Fast food restaurant chains and all that are open. So, but it's all contactless. You can get deliveries. Like, is fast food or restaurants and stuff open in the States?
There's a lot of delivery places. There's like, you know, there's some restaurants and things that are doing pick up and to go. Nobody knows what takeaway means here, so I have to say to go.
To go. So all the places in the States, like for example McDonald's and all that, was that still functioning?
It's only drive-through.
Yeah, drive-through and to go. Yeah, so we had that all shut down. We had that shut down for almost 5 weeks, and people lost it. Like, it opened up on Tuesday, and there were queues for Africa for people to buy that stuff. Yeah, queues. Like police, in some places, police had to go there to monitor the traffic.
At the McDonald's?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's
that's
you don't get you know, obesity status in the world from not having. It's really, you know what though, when Krispy Kreme opened in New Zealand, I think maybe 2-3 years ago, they also had queues for ages for people to go to it. And I remember police putting cones up, signs up saying warning, donut shoppers open. I don't know if the warning was because they were police and they wanted the donuts, or they were just managing all the traffic. If they were managing all the traffic for all the donut customers, and that lasted for a week. It was ridiculous.
That's
like I've
nuts.
never seen. It's absurd. It's absurd, the amount of craziness. Because in about 4 weeks later, just back to normal. Everyone can get their donuts whenever they want. Like, I think You know, people do. But I think we all did. Everybody did. Panic buying. Like, this is panic. I don't know why people. Maybe people went to McDonald's thinking, if we don't get it now, it may go back to lockdown, and they freaked out, so they panic bought. And I don't know if they bought. I don't know if they bought 100. I don't know if they bought 100 pizzas and frozen them, and 100 cheeseburgers. And I don't know what's going on, but that's what's kind of gone down. And like, people panic bought at the supermarket in New Zealand as well, and in Australia. Like, was toilet paper a problem in the States? Where people bought lots of
paper towels, toilet paper, everything. Which is the most bizarrest thing.
Which is the most bizarrest thing to buy, because the reality is that you can go for a number 2. And then just jump in the shower and wipe your butt, and you're good. You're good. You're good. Like, you're way better than toilet paper. Like, you're way better, in a much better place. Like, it's clean. It's great. Yeah. It's great. I mean,
that's secrets, life hacks with Tarun Mohanbhai.
It's not even a life hack. It's just, the thing is, of all the things that you bought so much of, how scared are you of getting number 2s on your hand? Literally, let's get real. That's pretty much the deal, right? That's what it is. Like, people buy toilet paper and use toilet paper only because they don't want to get shit on their hands. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. Like, we're literally not using toilet paper to wipe our bum. We're using toilet paper to cover our hands to make sure we don't get shit on them. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing as humans. Like, who goes to the, like, people go, I just use one sheet no one uses one sheet when they wipe their bum. Do you use one sheet? Do you roll it around your hand? Like, how do you use toilet paper? I don't even know.
I'm a scruncher. Hey? I'm a scruncher.
I'm the full wrap around the hand like candy floss.
Really?
Like, yeah, man. I'm like, whoa.
Okay.
I'm one of those guys that doesn't want poop on my hand. But because I was home the whole time, I had the full luxury of jumping in the shower and just doing a full wash down. But that depends, how many times. And some people, I understand, people like to crap a lot. Some people crap a lot. And when I'm good, I can be a 1 a day. Sometimes it can go 2. You can get crazy, go 3, but yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, they went crazy at the supermarket. I panic bought a pumpkin.
A pumpkin.
Yeah, I bought a pumpkin.
How was that a panic buy?
I don't need a pumpkin. I thought I was going to be here till Halloween. I don't know. I just thought, oh my God, I don't know how long I'm going into lockdown for. I'll buy a pumpkin. Bought a pumpkin. I saw it there yesterday. And I thought, I haven't even eaten that pumpkin. It's a giant pumpkin. I was thinking if we were here till October, I could have made a jack-o'-lantern, but that's not. So I might put that on Trade Me this week as a as something that I bought as a panic, and now I might put an auction on it, see if anyone wants the pumpkin. I don't think I need a pumpkin. Not a whole pumpkin.
Trade Me, for anybody who's watching from America, Trade Me is New Zealand's version of eBay.
Yeah. So I'm going to put that pumpkin on eBay /Trade Me.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
I mean, it's not used. It's good as new. It's good as new. And the weird thing is, what's the life expectancy of a pumpkin?
Oh gosh, you're speaking to the least kitchen person.
So here's the thing: the pumpkin's been sitting there for 4 weeks, and it looks exactly the same as it did 4 weeks ago. Like, how does if you put an apple somewhere, it goes dry. Any fruit goes pretty nasty, but pumpkin's life expectancy, it must be up there with like Labrador.
If anybody knows, comment below, please.
Yeah. Like, how some dogs have life expectancy that's quite long, and then some dogs, their life expectancy is like not good. So the pumpkin clearly falls into I don't know what dog has a long life expectancy. German Shepherd?
Probably.
No. Or maybe Poodle. No.
Poodles, no.
Smaller dogs, maybe. Maybe smaller dogs.
Smaller dogs, no? Definitely not, because they've been generally bred to be like small. And so because of all that genetic modification, they're just a little bit screwed up.
What are you saying? Are you saying poodles were never poodles? The poodles come from somewhere. A toy poodle.
If it's a toy poodle, because they've been crossbred to be a toy. Yeah. Yeah.
Serious? But
same thing with Pomeranians. Same thing with like Shih Tzus. Same thing with French Bulldogs. They've all been crossbred.
That I didn't know.
Yeah. Call EJ Aho says a whole year with whānau, a pumpkin can last until the next season if stored correctly. And still it's saying plant the pumpkin.
Plant it? I don't know about that. I think I might just sell it on Trade Me or keep it in case we go back into lockdown. I'm all ready for Halloween. But yeah, man, it was a definite panic buy. I just thought, I need a pumpkin. Why do I? And I thought I was going to make soup, but it just seemed like a lot of effort.
I mean, it's tasty, but yeah, it's a lot of effort.
I love pumpkin soup. It is my favorite soup of soups, but weirdly enough, it hasn't even got that cold. It's such a cold weather meal, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
It's been pretty hot, pretty warm. Like we're at what, April 30th, and the weather's warm, really warm.
How warm is it over there at the moment?
I'm going to tell you right now, and we are in the heart of autumn, which you guys call fall, and we are at right now. It's 14 degrees. Oh no, it's 19 degrees.
19 degrees. Okay. So we are in the heart of spring and it's 21 degrees here. Fahrenheit. 21 degrees Celsius.
Yeah,
70 degrees.
And I'm 19 degrees Celsius in autumn, which is fall, right?
Yes, fall.
Yeah. So we're doing really well.
Fall down.
Yeah. And it's really, it's really warm, like really lovely. And we're 4 weeks away from winter.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy. It's 19 degrees. It's insane. And then after that, 12 weeks after that, boom, back to spring. So we're rocking. Yeah, we're rocking.
Who says that global warming isn't a thing?
I just thought the sun liked to shine. I didn't know anything about global warming. I just thought the sun thought it's its turn. You know, rain's had a. I mean, we have got a bit of a water shortage at the moment. So.
Oh really?
Yeah, people aren't meant to wash their cars and stuff. In Auckland, where our dams are a bit low, so it is. It might be near crisis point, but yeah, there's a lot of dirty cars. There's a lot of dirty cars on the road. Let's just get real. Dirty cars, and yeah, and maybe that helped because no one was going to work. I'm sure a lot of people weren't showering for 4 weeks either. Why are we showering? We don't have to go anywhere, and there's a water shortage. You could pretty much talk yourself out of showering easily.
Unless you poop, in which case you should go have a shower if you don't have any toilet paper.
If you haven't got toilet paper, yeah. That's the one thing that went missing. Toilet paper, flour, pasta. Everybody became bakers. Everybody thought they can bake their way out of this crisis.
Not me.
I've put on a little bit of weight, which annoys me. So that's annoyed me, and I'm because the thing is I'm quite relatively active throughout the day, so I don't think about food because I'm just doing stuff. But because I'm just stuck in one place, all I think about is food. Like I wake up, and normally I'd wake up and do stuff in the mornings, and then I wouldn't have anything to eat till 9 or 10 sometimes. Because I still wake up normally about 5:30 a.m. I'm just an early riser. Yeah, I get up really early at the crack of dawn, and then by 5:30, if I'm not doing anything, by 7, I'm just thinking about what can I put in my mouth. And I'm hungry, and I eat stuff, and then by 9, I'm like thinking about lunch, and then I'm just thinking about food because I'm not doing anything else. I'm watching loads of Netflix. Like I'm on the Ozarks at the moment. Which is great. Seen that? It's very good.
That's cool.
For those of you who are watching, they all die. I've spoiled it. I don't know.
I just binge watched Black AF. I don't know if the programming's the same in New Zealand as it is here.
No. Is it called Black AF?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have. I've noticed it on my list. It's one of my. See, I watched while I've been in lockdown. I watched all of Mad Men, which I'd never seen. So Mad Men, have you seen that?
No.
Yeah, so it was 7 seasons. I cleaned that off in about 2 weeks, and it was really good. But it was good, but it was just like and then I've started watching The Last Dance. It's not a movie about dancing at all. Like it's not the tango or salsa or hip hop. It's none of that. It's about,
I watched
about basketball. That. It's about basketball. Michael Jordan.
Oh yeah, no, I have been watching that. Yes.
Yeah, it's a silly name. It's a silly name for a show. I know they've explained it in the first episode. They're called Last Dance, but you know, when you see something that says Last Dance, I expect a lot of hip hop. And
hey, Michael Jordan can be hip hop.
Hey,
Michael Jordan's hip hop.
Oh yeah, I'll never forget when he did his cameo in that song Jam with Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
In '91. That was not hip hop, but it was definitely a bit of dancing of sorts. But yeah, no, that's a poor title. I would have rather heard the title, I don't know, Slam Dunk or Hoop Drink or something. Yeah. Just something to avoid me from watching sports. But weirdly enough, I am liking the documentary because I did like Michael Jordan. When I don't watch sports. I'm not a sports fan. Just not.
No, neither. I did watch Last Dance though. I was intrigued. It was.
Yeah, it is good. It's really good. I do like it as well.
Yeah, that's cool. So what I've been doing is, instead of eating all the time, I put myself on a intermittent fasting schedule. So I'm eating between. Well. Yeah.
That's exactly what I do when I'm not. When I'm not on this lockdown, intermittent fasting was easy as hell. And I loved it, but it hasn't worked in lockdown. And because I'm staying on my own, I was on my own. Normally when I'm with my buddy and we flat together, I feel a bit guilty eating food when I'm around other people. But on my own, left to my own devices, I'm just like I deserve a treat. I'm like a little dog and I give myself treats all day long. But that's weird. Yeah, it's really odd.
So out of this whole quarantine thing, what are the 3 things that you've learned about yourself or about life that you weren't expecting to?
I kind of don't mind my own company. I'm quite good at that. I don't mind it. It's not a biggie. I do like social interaction, but it's not being or whatever. I don't mind. I do like hanging out with people, so I do kind of miss that. That's kind of sucky, but at the same time, I haven't gone stir crazy. But I've realized if I'm not doing stuff, my go-to is food. When my go-to should have been exercise or just something a little bit more productive. I've been a little bit creative, which has been good, like writing and stuff, which has been great. But considering how much time I've had, I should have done way more, but I haven't. But I did achieve a fair whack, which is good.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. And so when are you looking at going back to doing shows? Do you know?
They reckon at level 2 in New Zealand we can, but even at level 2, you have to have your capacity 100 or less.
Okay.
So that includes the staff and the performers. So realistically, that includes everyone. So that could only be a venue maybe having about 85 people, if that.
Okay.
If that. That's at level 2. And then when we drop back down to level 1, we can have bigger events. But bigger events in the world are going to be quite far away now.
Yeah.
Only because international travel, like no one's going to travel to another country, quarantine themselves for 14 days to do one concert. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So international touring for big bands and stuff like that is definitely on a hold, which is a real shame. But it's just what it's going to be for the next, unforeseeable future, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a weird
time. How does it affect you? How have you been affected? Quite extensively as well?
It's ridiculous. Life is crazy. So I've taken to doing all of my shows online now. So I'm doing like Monday mornings, Friday evenings, and Sunday afternoons. And obviously I decided, well, since I'm all about positivity and trying to see the bright side of life, I've started this REALTALK series, which I'm super excited about. So thank you for being here. But I also I've re-kicked off my Patreon to kind of see, just get more creative.
Yeah.
While I'm at home, I set myself up a home studio and I'm recording some some little songs that I've been writing over quarantine, and I'll be releasing those to my patrons. And so I'm trying to be productive with my time. totally, my fridge is too full. I'm not eating as much as I could be. And
I think with me, I've made some real poor choices. Like I've discovered things. Well, no, the pumpkin would have been a good thing to eat. What I have been eating is, the old onion dip with.
You're the second person to bring up that magic onion dip today. What the hell? It's a sign.
You know what? For some bizarre reason, that's my go-to snack. Now that is a lot of.
Do you eat them with like chips, or do you eat them with carrot sticks?
I probably should eat them with carrots. Actually, I should eat them with carrots. I got a lot of carrots as well, but I haven't been eating them with carrots. But you're right, carrots would have been the smarter choice. Have I been eating them with carrots? No.
I'm here to support you, Taryn. I'm here to support you.
You know what? I have a whole bag of carrots. I'm going to make one more round of that dip and consume it with vegetables. I'm going to consume it because I've been juicing the carrots, which I love. I have carrot and beetroot and ginger, just real lovely juice. But
yeah, I made that yesterday.
Yeah, I do juice. I juice a lot, which is great, but I haven't lately. Even at the moment, I've been a bit lazy with juicing as well, but I'm a big fan of juicing. So, yeah, I just feel like things have definitely, like I'm eating way more chocolate than I normally do, way more ice cream than I normally do. And I'll eat all that stuff all the time anyway. And I used to intermittent fast all the time. And I stopped when I came into this lockdown, which is so bizarre. And it's something that I always did. Like I did 16/8 and I was pretty good with it. Like I was really good for a whole year, and then the wheels fell off last June, and then since last June I've been doing it, but not amazingly. And I was at last June. I was good until last September. Actually, I was really, really good, and then since then it's been on and off. Yeah, I got to get back into it. I know that's my savior, and I know I can achieve it easily.
Absolutely. I'm here to support you in any way I can. It's a little inner figurine on your shoulder going, you can do it, man. Put down the crisps.
I'll just be like, you can eat that. Yeah, eat it. Yeah, there's a lot.
Get a McDonald's.
I haven't had any fast food, weirdly enough. I don't need to. Like yesterday, I did have soup, but it was canned soup. I love soup. But I had it weirdly enough with corn chips, like really nice corn chips. So I used the soup as a dip. So nice. It was beautiful.
What kind of soup was it?
Tomato.
Okay. Oh, that's fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, put chilies in it, and then I put beautiful corn chips, and I used the corn chip as a dip. Just an idiot. I need to pull my head in.
What's that saying? That like better living, everybody? No.
Yeah, better living. Yeah, it was better living.
Better living. Who was the countdown chef guy with the garlic?
Oh. What?
Remember, like the guy, like there was an ad. This was years ago.
Oh, Brett. His name was Brett.
Brett.
Brett. Yeah. Okay. I know him. He's really lovely.
Oh, of course you know him.
Yeah.
2 degrees of separation. I love it.
He had won the original Master Chef, I think, and then he was the face of Countdown for a while. Yeah. He's really lovely.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Cool. So moving forward into level 3, what can we look for? Like, how can people follow you? What can we do to support you?
No, don't follow me. I don't want stalkers. I am happy. I don't want stalkers. Just leave me alone. I'll just keep doing my own thing. Just keep away at 2 meters. This is the thing, right? Stalking's become very, very challenging for people. There's a lot of things, like people don't realize this, but there's a lot of people out there that have really gone, like it's really dangerous, like murderers, like how much has their work dropped? Like you can't just go out and randomly kill people now. And it's hard to, in America it's easy because you've got guns, you can kill at a distance. We don't have that many guns. You've got to get quite close, but it's hard to stab someone from 2 meters away unless you're a good knife thrower. So it's very, very, it's become very, very, it's a different world we live in, a different world. Yeah.
And then a thought and a prayer for the murderers out there.
Then they're going to decide, did he die of the stab wound or corona? I don't know. where do we categorize this person, At least when you go with corona, you're a statistic on TV. With a stab wound, they haven't got time for that on the news these days. It's just, you're not even number one anymore, mate. You don't fall into the top.
Everything's COVID now.
Everything's COVID. Yeah. If you don't go by COVID, you might as well not go. Yeah. It's morbid, but it's the truth. I know.
I'm laughing uncomfortably again because it's true.
Trust me, it's awful. Like I say, I think there's a lot of people out there in society that are undesirables that are in lockdown, but they're like, I can do this. I just spent 8 years in prison for doing something that was way worse, This lockdown for them is great, Yeah. Like, welcome to the world of the people with ankle bracelets.
Right. So it's saying you can always murder somebody via sword fight.
Yes, that is a good point. As long as the sword's long enough.
Yeah. These
guns,
3 feet per sword, you should be fine, right?
Yeah.
Look at me. I've reverted to.
Look, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that wish they had bought acid before this went into lockdown, because you could throw acid at people. Not a good way to go, but I know in places, I know people, I know it exists. Those kind of murders happen, and they're awful, awful, awful. I do not condone them. By no means should you watch this video and go, it's a good way to get rid of people. Just throw acid at them. Not good, but I'm well aware it's a very common way of people getting rid of people.
Yeah.
Or just
well, again, I think that's like a New Zealand, like a non-American way of getting rid of people, like, because guns are.
Oh no! Acid is it's a real Middle Eastern way, like not Middle Eastern, but in the subcontinent way. It's quite big on the subcontinent. Acid's huge.
Yeah. I've heard of that.
I think in the Western world, it's the other acid that's huge. The fun acid.
The fun acid.
There's acid you ingest, and then there's the acid that you throw.
Right.
Don't get them mixed up.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah. There we go.
Any last words before we wrap up tonight?
Last words, look.
Besides, don't kill people.
Look, anything I said about getting rid of people, jokes. Do not attempt that stuff. Stay safe within your bubble or whatever you call it, your bubble, your hippodrome, or your 2 degrees of separation, whatever you want to call it. Stay safe within it, and be kind, I guess, to everyone you meet on the streets, unless they've got COVID, and just run away from them. No, I'm joking. I don't know. I think you just got to be nice to everyone, and just assume that everyone has it, just for the time being, until they figure out what's going on.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here, man. I really
thanks for having me.
It's so good to see you.
Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Zoom.
You're great.
That's my hand. Where's the camera? Okay, so my fingers made it into the shot. See, I don't know how to use these things. Like, I literally do not like looking at. I'm intentionally just looking at you because I don't want to look at what my image looks like. I probably look like a moron. And let's forget about it. Let's just round this up. Thanks for having me, Emma. The quicker I'm off the internet looking like this, the better it is going to be for everyone.
I love your face. So good to see you. Be good. Be kind. Tell your mom.
You